Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing very well today. I hope you all slept incredibly well this fine Monday morning, this lovely crisp spring Monday. God, we're in spring Monday morning. So today I thought we would talk about the Easyjet recruitment process. I have just passed my assessment day. Very pleased about that. And I have a start date, the 1st of March, which is very exciting indeed. I cannot wait. But today I thought I would tell you all about sort of how it works from signing up initially to getting your training date. Right, so I guess we start from signing up. You go to easyjet.com, you pick your career, and you make an account. This account will require you to upload things like your CV, your passport, and fill out some other details about yourself, sort of who you are, basically. They just want to know who you are. You pick a role, you hit apply. If you are successful with that first stage, you get an email back saying, inviting you to a link to do a quiz. Not a quiz, yes, a quiz. It's sort of a personality check / cognitive test. But I should go back a bit. So, when you first hit apply, a computer will check through your CV looking for words key to your job. I think that's how it works. Looking words key to your job, so things like teamwork, customer service, that sort of stuff. They just want sort of a good background about you and want to make sure your CV fits your role. You're going to need some customer service skills prior. You can't just go into this job without having any customer service skills, because they're a must, especially for safety wise, and also being stuck in a metal tube with a bunch of people that don't like you is really scary. Especially if you're in a long one, like a 4-hour sector to Tenerife. Ooh, that's rough. Anyway, so you have applied, you have got your email for your personality check / cognitive test. Don't really know what it is. Don't really know what it's called, but I know what it is. So, you do that, and get your email, you open the link. You have to do it all in one sitting. You can't have breaks, you can't wait around to do it. You have to do it as soon as you get the email, basically within a couple of days, I think. When you have time, basically when you have a spare hour or so, sit down, get it done. It's not bad. First sort of quiz is a personality check. It gives you two massively opposing statements, two random statements. So for example, it could be, I'm organised, or I like spending time with my friends. And you have to put yourself on a scale. You put one answer from, I think it's -5 to 5, depending on which one you prefer and how much. They're looking for people who give the right answers. I know that sounds awful and I know that's the worst advice, but they are. They're looking for people who give the right answers for the job. You need to be able to balance your work life. You need to be able to be organised whilst also enjoying other people's company. You need a lot of skills, and they're looking for a pass mark, basically. They're not going to tell you that, but they're looking for a pass mark. You're looking at, I don't know, they're just looking to see that you filled out the correct stuff, looking to see that you meet their requirements. And once you do that first sort of test, you then move on to your cognitive thing, which basically, you know those little 2D games you have, where you have rectangles and squares, so you have to move out the way to move a ball from one end to the other whilst moving these things to get out of the way. Anyway, it's one of those. It's timed, and you have to do it in the shortest amount of moves possible. They do count your moves, and I think you have 20 seconds to do each one. I've forgotten, because it was quite a while ago now, but 10-20 seconds to do each one. If you can't do it, there's always a skip button, and some of them are impossible. One of them I had was impossible, and I just couldn't do it. After 10 seconds, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm skipping. Bye. I couldn't do it. It was ridiculous. Anyway, so once you've done that, you then get a quiz. Get a scenario quiz, which gives you multiple scenarios. So for example, you're on a flight to Hamburg and you have an unruly customer. What do you do? In this situation, there is a multiple choice answer, so there's 4 or 5 multiple choice answers you can pick from. I don't know if you can get this wrong, but I think they're just looking for people who know how to deal with people, how to communicate, and how to ensure that you are getting your message across, especially to the customer, in the best way possible, in the most calm way, in the way that will sort everything out, and in the way that will just cause least commotion and trauma for both of you, because you don't want bad customer service and you don't want to be delivering a bad customer service either. You've got to put yourself in the customer's shoes always in these tests. Make sure you know what you're talking about, because otherwise you won't be successful, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. So now we are on to the final part. Once you complete your quiz and it is all fine, you're fine. At that point, I think somebody looks through your CV, looks through to make sure that you are the person you say you are, looks through to make sure that you are the right fit for the company, and looks through to make sure that you've passed everything with flying colours, which I'm sure you would have because you're watching this video about the assessment day, which is what we're going to move on to just now. So when the assessment day comes, they give you an email. They give you an email saying, congratulations, you've been successful. We'd like to offer you an assessment day. Here are some dates, pick one. Here are some times, pick one. They give you an option of 4 to 5 dates with 2 times on each one. There's an 8:30 and a 12:30. I went for the afternoon because I prefer to be able to psych myself up a little, to be able to read through my notes. Make notes, by the way, that's key. I'll get to that later. Anyway, make notes, psych yourself up with these notes. Know what to say in the interview, because that is key. Know what to say in the interview. If you don't know what you're talking about, you're not going to get the job. You need to be enthusiastic. You need to be smiley. They're watching you from the moment you get in there. It's all done on Microsoft Teams. You go in, you press join meeting. There is about 4 or 5 of you, depending on how big your group is, and there's also 2 assessors at the start. We had 3, but that's only because they had to merge 2 of the groups because of some issues that they were having with another group. No one showed up apart from one guy, and so everyone came into the one group, which was really nice actually. So there was 5 of us. I'm not sure, but it was very small, much smaller than the actual assessment days. Shout out to Megan Rose, by the way. I think that's her name. Sorry if I've messed that up. She did some cabin crew videos and does some cabin crew videos, and they really helped me prepare, sort of make sure that my notes were perfect, make sure that I knew what to expect. She did an actual assessment day a couple of years ago, but because everything's moved online, I thought I'd talk about the virtual and just make sure that anyone applying for the 2022 knows what to expect for the virtual, because I couldn't find a video on virtual assessment days specifically for Easyjet online, so I thought I'd give you this just to make life a little easier for those people who also were in the same boat as me and who couldn't find one. But yeah, so you have logged into your assessment day, and there you are sitting with 4 or 5 other people, 2 to 3 assessors. What do you do? Your first assessment, not the first assessment, sorry, the first activity. This is not assessed. Please don't think this first activity is assessed, because it's not. It's an icebreaker. You need to bring something memorable along that you own. So I brought along a flag that one of my friends sent me from abroad, and I could talk about that for ages. Lovely guy, talk about it for ages, it's fine. You need to be able to talk about your item, you need to be able to answer questions that other people might have. And all of this is just to break the ice, as I said, it's an icebreaker. Break the ice, make sure that you are not getting along, but make sure that you know the people, make sure that you know their interests, their hobbies, just getting to know people, so it makes it easier for the next activity, which is assessed. The next activity is a scenario-based activity. You're given a job role in a tourism company as sort of a lower down role in a company. I mean, the scenario could be different for each one. I don't know. For each assessment day, I don't specifically know what you're going to get on your assessment day. Mine was pretty easy. Mine was a receptionist, and you basically had to list. So you were given a list of different scenarios. There was about 15 or 20 of them. You had 20 minutes. The assessors were watching you, but they had the cameras off, and you had to discuss each scenario. It was a customer service related thing, so it was ambiguous in the sense that there could be loads of different ways you could handle a situation. So someone lost their key, for example, and you needed to figure out what the best way was to help that customer to find their key. You'd also be given a little bit of information underneath, saying something like, this hotel offers a no spare room key policy, and if you lose your key you have to pay a fine. You obviously don't want the customer to pay that fine, so you want to help them as much as possible by letting staff know, for example, that someone's lost their key and whether they can look for it, and handing it back into reception if they have found it. Something along those lines. It's a really nice way to discuss and talk about and listen to other people's approaches. Another thing, listen. I know it's hard, and I know you just want to... As I was saying before my camera rudely died, listening is key. You have to be able to listen. I know you just want to get all your ideas out there, but please listen to people. It's very fun. You get a lot of different ideas, but it's nerve-wracking at the same time, because you only have 20 minutes, and those 20 minutes could be the best 20 minutes of your life. You could really get on with the people. You could enjoy some really new fun ideas, or you could really hate it. Luckily, I really enjoyed it. I really got on with the people, and I really learned some new stuff about customer service, which I didn't really know beforehand, so that was lovely. So you've completed your assessment and your icebreaker. Then's the interview. My interview was 2 hours after my assessment and icebreaker, which sort of left me in a position of, what do I do now? Like, you leave your team's call, by the way. You leave your first team's call because you wait for the one-on-one interview call to happen. And I was just a bit like, well, I'm sitting here and I'm nervous and you've left me. Yeah, that's fun. What am I doing? So you do that. You wait for your interview. Sorry. The interview could be an hour after, it could be straight after, or it could be 2 hours after. Mine was 2 hours after. I had a 3:30 to 4:30 time slot for the interview. Interview was only half an hour. It was lovely. It was easy. I was psyching myself up for not much. If you know what you're talking about, you'll enjoy it. It'll be a breeze. It's just a chat. My interviewer was lovely. She was a woman who'd been with the company for years. She obviously had great person skills and was able to just communicate really well with people, and that really showed, and she was incredible. I loved her. Hope I meet her. Yeah, so you do the interview. Interview's great. You get asked questions like, why Easyjet? Why do you want to work for us? Or what's your motives? You get asked customer service based questions like, have you ever experienced an intolerable customer? How you dealt with it? When have you showed initiative? When have there been times where you haven't known what you're doing and you've had to sort of not make it up as you go along, but find out the best solution to your problems? When have you felt time pressure? When have you really felt like you've been rewarded in your role? That sort of thing. Your standard customer service interview questions, basically. They just want to see that you're the right fit for the company. And other things I could address. Dress code. That's it. Dress code. Dress code, you need to be dressed like you are going to the actual assessment day at base. You need to be dressed smart. You need to be smart. Not smart casual, smart. You need to be... I dress suit and tie because I wanted to give the best impression possible. I made myself look very presentable. I cleaned up my background quite a bit because it was quite messy. Make sure that your space is well lit. Make sure that you have sort of cues on another screen if you can. So make sure you have a notepad open so you can take notes. Make sure you bring a piece of paper along to take notes as well. They might want you to write some stuff down about the scenarios, the what do you call it? Not the scenarios, but also make notes about sort of what goes on during the day. So they might want you to make notes about how you've been coping in the assessment day, because they might want feedback, etc., etc. Another thing, bring your passport. Definitely a big one. A lot of people forget this. Bring your passport along. Just have it on your desk next to you, and also water. Passport because they want to. Sorry, I got way too ahead of myself there. Passport because they want to make sure it's you in the interview. So the first thing they'll ask you is, can you just show your passport on the screen? Show the ID page. Make sure it's you, because they also have a copy of your passport which you uploaded when you first applied. Make sure you have your passport. Now water. That's it, water. And make sure you have water, because your mouth will be bloody dry. I know this because it was as soon as I got there. As soon as I sat down, my mouth was a desert. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know. And so I got through about a glass and a half of water in the first 2 hours. I should also mention, I don't know if I have already, but the first set of stuff, the first 2 activities, lasted about an hour and a half. They're scheduled for 2 hours, I think, but no, they last about an hour and a half. The interview was half an hour. The day was about 5 hours in total, if you count the waiting around for 2 hours, based on 2.5 hours actually, if you count that. It was fine. It was quite fun actually. I learnt a lot. I got some valuable life lessons from it about sort of how to do online stuff. Never really done it before. I've done it for school, but that was different. That was very much a different environment, very easy, very casual, whereas this is very corporate, very business, very we want you, but we want to know that you're the right fit, and we want to know that you can present yourself, and we want to know you can look snazzy, and yeah. That's all, I think, guys. If you have any questions or I've missed anything out, I'll be sure to add it later on. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm sorry this video hasn't been 100% and it's been a bit all over the place. I'm still quite new to this stuff, so any sort of suggestions and ideas would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for sticking to the end. I hope you have a wonderful day and that you are successful in your Easyjet journeys. I am looking forward to my training. I can't wait. It'll be so fun. Thank you so much, and I will see you all later. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in a bit.